everyone, and welcome to another episode of HP Critical, a podcast where my friends and I talk all things gaming. Today, I am joined by Kellie, who is a new writer of HP Critical, and I wanted to talk to her a little bit about Twitch and sexual harassment. So if you've visited hpcritical.com, you might have seen an article she wrote titled Twitch Bans Alleged Sexual Predators from Their Platform. Recently, there's been a lot of stuff in the news talking about sexual predators, sexual harassment within the gaming community, within the FGC, and Twitch decided that they were going to try to do something about it. So, first of all, hi, Kellie.
Hi, how are you?
I'm great. Do you want to tell the listeners a little bit about yourself?
So my name is Kellie. I'm a new writer for HP Critical, even though I've been in the Slack channel for a while now.
Yes.
I stream on Twitch, and I've been doing that for a few years.
And she's a really great streamer. It's twitch.tv/ what is it?
It's Kellie C.
Okay.
But the spelling is all wacky.
It'll be in the comment section for this podcast as well, so definitely check out her streaming. It is awesome. I was in there. It was a lot of fun. So something that you mentioned in the article is that Twitch has recently had a massive amount of drama surrounding allegations with certain people within the Twitch community, and they decided to roll out the, as you put it, ban hammer on a few of them.
Yes.
And the list, though you did mention what you put was not complete, there were quite a few names on there. Did you recognize any of the streamer names on the one that you posted?
I don't think that I followed any of them specifically. Mm-hmm. I mean, I had remembered some of these names from either just the articles, because I had seen people's articles on Twitter about them writing about the harassment that they had faced, so the victim side of the story. And then one of the emotes, one of the Twitch universal emotes, is that bless RNG emote. And that was one of the people that got banned, and it's actually the emote is gone now too.
Oh, see, I didn't even know that.
Yeah, so that was gone now too.
So I know that they decided that they were going to start banning people from their platform. So I actually wanted to talk to you and ask you a little bit about how you felt being a female Twitch streamer, how you felt about how they were handling the situation. So, you do talk about how women come forward, and a lot of times it's questioned and doubted just based on the fact that they're women. And that, games should be inclusionary. And unfortunately, it's not always. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I'm listening.
Okay. So there was first I want to talk about the Twitch blackout that happened. There was a Twitch blackout, which everyone decided on Wednesday, June 24th, that they would not be streaming on Twitch. Some streamers chose to do so on the blackout, and some people didn't, and some people said that it was ineffective. How did you feel about that situation?
I didn't mind. I thought the Twitch blackout was a good idea, because I think that Twitch would take notice if they lost money for that day. And I'm guessing, like, without people streaming for the day, I don't really know how their revenue system actually works, but I would assume that they would notice a drop in that day if nobody streamed, which I thought was a great idea. And I didn't stream on that day. I mean, it wasn't really related. I normally don't stream on Wednesdays, but I figured that it worked out that I wasn't going to anyways. But so I think that, like, people streaming on that day kind of undermined the movement a little bit. I wonder if it would have actually worked. But at the same time, I'm pretty sure it was the next day that they banned all these people. So did it work? Or
was it just...
The people that streamed were trying to say, like, it was them because they were, like, saying things about, they were speaking out against what Twitch was doing. And I'm like, well, you can't really make that decision because
exactly.
You don't know if it was it the blackout or was it them? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So being a female streamer, I know that you mentioned that gaming should be inclusionary, and it should feel like a safe place. And I wanted to ask you, have you ever had to deal with any types of harassment on Twitch? And also, if you have, what did you specifically have to do to handle it? And do you think that Twitch is helpful in those types of situations?
To be honest with you, I pretty much get harassed for being a woman a lot. Mm-hmm. Mostly by people in games sometimes, or I feel like the trolling lately has been to a minimum, but over the course of my time on Twitch, I have been harassed. And that I really had to handle myself. There was this one time that someone came in and said like some really terrible things. And me and my mods, we filed complaints and reports.
Mm-hmm.
But every time I had checked after that, he hadn't been banned or anything yet.
Of course.
So, I mean, it's just words. But like, I feel like they didn't do anything about that. But then again, like I said, it wasn't like sexual assault, or it wasn't even like sexual harassment, really. It was just hate. Legitimate hate.
Have you seen the Twitch Council that they created to attempt to help people with being able to handle these types of situations?
I have not, actually.
Okay. So basically, they decided to bring together a bunch of community members to create a Twitch council to help people who are in this situation. But I wanted to ask, how do you think, or what do you think Twitch could do, if anything, to help streamers like yourself be able to control such situations?
I mean, to be honest, one thing that helped me not get as much hate in the channel is I made it to where people to chat in my channel, you have to have a verified email address. So people that would be normally like just like a troll who would come in and make an account for 5 minutes, like they have to verify an email, which really works well.
Oh, that's that's a really good idea.
That's effective. But I think just more stuff like that, like maybe you can't have an account without an email or something at all. There would be way less viewers, that's for sure, because some people have multiple accounts, and I don't think that you can actually link more than one email to an account, or link more than one account to an email. But I really don't know. I think that would definitely help people not get as much harassment. However, with the council, I don't necessarily know what they plan to do. I mean, some of these accusations against people are like stuff that's not even happening on Twitch.
Yeah, that's the other thing. A lot of it is happening, outside of Twitch. And I mean, honestly, from what I've seen, the council hasn't done anything too great at the moment, because I know that some people had an issue with some of the names of the people that were a part of the council.
Oh, no.
Yeah, yeah, it was a whole thing. But you do have a question posed in your article that I want to ask you. You say women have faced backlash for their accusations, but is that worse than being blacklisted from the industry completely? What do you think about that question that you pose?
I think that being blacklisted from the industry is probably the worst thing that can happen to you. I mean, facing backlash from people on the internet, I mean, let's face it, if you're already streaming on Twitch, you're already facing that all the time. People are always going to say stuff to you, even if you're in the spotlight at all. It doesn't matter what you do. So like, I think that being blacklisted is much worse. I mean, and like some people there was the story of this girl that was a Dota 2 streamer, and she pretty much, I guess, trying to think, I think someone harassed her, and just pretty much she left the industry completely. And I mean, she was like like an esports competitive person in Dota 2, and now she's not even in the industry anymore. And I mean, that's really, really sad.
Yeah.
And even in other industries, we've seen that happen, and it was always sad. Like in, comedy, women have been blacklisted, and especially in Hollywood, it's almost like it's just the same thing just happening in gaming now, because that's the new, popular thing right now.
So one of the other things that we were talking about recently was diversity in gaming and women in gaming. How do you feel, this is going a little bit off topic, but what do you think game developers could do to get more women at the forefront of gaming?
I've been wondering that myself, to be honest, because I have been thinking recently about trying to get possibly into gaming as a career.
Yeah.
So I actually followed a bunch of female game developers on Twitter, because I was like, I don't know how to even find them, to be honest. But I think that women are getting into the industry. I think that it has to be where my opinion is equal, because I'm just a person that's interested in gaming, not because they need me to be like the minority or something in the group, like, oh, we need a woman, so we're picking one or something. Like, I think that they actually have to take women's ideas and run with them because they're good ideas, not because, they have to or something. And I still feel like gaming is really closed off just because it's it's been men for so long.
Yeah,
That's
definitely
the majority, and I just feel like it's going to probably just take some time, like everything else.
Dang. That's, I mean, yes, like, I literally completely agree with you because, of course, no one wants to be, like, the token person just to be claimed as the token diversity hire, in your company. But, at the same time, I think that, I personally really believe that representation is one of the biggest ways to influence people into being a part of a community. And I think that, games like The Last of Us 2, having, Ellie as the protagonist, as the forefront of the game, on the front of the title, having a lesbian relationship featured prominently in a AAA PlayStation exclusive. I think things like those definitely do require people to stop and think about their prejudices when they're looking at a woman that is a protagonist to a game, or even a streamer that is a woman. And one of the things that we talked about, and I'm going to ask your opinion on this as well, one of the things we talked about on the last podcast was representation in video games, and how I think you've played Overwatch before, right?
Yes.
Okay, so one of the things that I mentioned was that I love Overwatch because there is Diva, and Diva, right?
Yes, of course.
Okay.
That was my man.
Exactly. So there have been a lot of people who have used Diva as their main character in Overwatch, and I thought that it was brilliant because what Blizzard did was forced people, especially dude bros, to have to get into the mindset of playing a tiny gamer girl as, like, the tank of their video game. And so it very much goes from, oh my god, you picked this girl, like, what's wrong with you? Like, you're a dude, to, oh, like, I am that girl. I am this tiny adorable gamer girl who is, like, kick-ass, and I'm the fucking tank. So I think Overwatch has done a really, really great job at representation in that manner. And I do think that, like, because when I play, every time that someone is playing as Diva, like, I refer to them as her or she, because Diva, that's how Diva identifies. And I do think that it has gone from, like, oh my god, how dare you, to people kind of just being like, yeah, I'm the girl, I'm the tank, I'm Diva. And I think that did change a little bit of perspective in gaming. But how do you feel about, like, representation in that manner? It doesn't have to be the Overwatch example, but you can obviously use the same example. But do you think that does help gaming?
I think so. And I think, like, one game that I feel like people play characters that aren't, like, I like Dead by Daylight a lot. Mm-hmm. And in that, I mean, you pretty much have to level up all the characters to get all of, like, the perks and everything.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's a game where some people just main female characters and don't really think anything of it. Mm-hmm. Like, I feel like whenever I make a character, I want it to look like me.
Yeah.
But if I'm just picking a character, I really don't care. And that's, like, with Overwatch, obviously, they have, like, a way more diverse, like, group of people, like, characters, because they're all, like, they're all different. They all have different accents, and they all, like, some are cyborgs or whatever. But in Dead by Daylight, I feel like it's, like, some people just main Claudette. Like, that's just who they are.
Play, yeah.
Yeah. And I always just refer to them as a she, because in the game, she is just a female character. But, like, I feel like it kind of, over time, more and more games are just having, like, male and female characters and all kinds of diversity. And people just pick a character based on their skill, not just because you want it to look like you or be like you or something like that. Mm-hmm. So I guess that makes some diversity.
Yeah. I always, I like the fact that games like Overwatch and games like Dead by Daylight, they do force you, if you want to try something new, to put yourself in the shoes of a character that doesn't necessarily look like you, because, sometimes, I mean, not with Dead by Daylight and Overwatch, but sometimes you'll have an example in which you realize that you are kind of just like this character. Like, even though you're different, their differences aren't big enough to make you stand out from that person. I don't know if that makes sense. But I also wanted to talk a little bit more about LGBT representation in video games as well, since we did bring up Overwatch. I don't think there are any confirmed LGBT characters in Dead by Daylight. Correct me if I'm wrong.
They were supposedly, I thought, okay, they came out during Pride Month. They had a list. I should actually look it up on Twitter. They had a list, right, of characters, and there were did they come out with like some LGBT characters? I think they might have.
I mean, as far as I remember, it's all been fan art and shipping that I've seen.
Oh, okay.
But I'm not 100% sure.
I should look that up. I'd be really interested because I think they did say one character was, but you are right about the fan art. Now maybe I'm thinking of that. Like, isn't it David and Dwight?
Yes.
Okay,
That's exactly what I was thinking about.
Yeah. I heard about that. I was like, oh my goodness.
So the reason I bring it up is because I also wanted to talk a little bit about, because, I've experienced harassment on Twitch once before, just for, being who I am. And I'm sure that you, just because you have being who you are as well. Do you think that when a company shows, when they're able to show diversity in their video game, do you think that'll also help people come to that video game, or do you think that'll help people not be harassed on Twitch for playing that video game?
I feel like sometimes people misconstrue diversity in games as a political statement. So
sometimes. A lot.
A lot. But I mean, I guess I should say some people, like not sometimes. Mm-hmm. There's always going to be people that do that. But, so I feel like sometimes diversity can make people not come to a game because, like I said, they think it's some sort of political statement, even though everybody plays games now. It's not a big deal to have a diversity of characters. But I don't really know. Like, I feel like it does help certain people feel more connected to a game. Mm-hmm. And it can help, I mean, I like to play as female characters sometimes. I mean, sometimes I'll buy a game for that.
Yeah.
And I think that if some people don't, it's maybe just, whatever, then those people just don't play the game then. I guess it's like an offset. Like maybe more women would buy a game with a female protagonist, mm-hmm. and then men who don't want to play as a female protagonist just won't.
And then
then guess what? Yeah, more women in the game.
And yeah, exactly. And then there are more women to stream this game because more women are playing this game. And I think that's exactly what we're talking about. And I think that's what you need. And I think that The Last of Us 2 is a great example of that because there have been a lot of people that are like, oh yeah, I want to play The Last of Us 2. But then there are also people that are like, oh my God, there's a girl and she's gay. There's no way I could play this game. And to them, I'm just like, fuck it, don't play it. And it doesn't even matter because, last I checked, The Last of Us 2 is actually the fastest selling PS4 title ever.
Wow, that's impressive.
And I mean, that just shows that people are getting over the nonsense that some people are trying to push out on, Twitch. So I want to talk a little bit about positives. I don't know how long you've been streaming on Twitch, but I want to ask how long you've been streaming and what are some of the reasons that you continue to do so, and whether you've had some of the good times that you've had on Twitch.
So I've been streaming since 2016. I played Battlefront, Star Wars Battlefront, for a long time, a few years, and I really loved it. It was all I played. And I actually got a large following. I mean, I have almost 4,000 followers on Twitch now.
I saw, congratulations.
Thank you. But I used to have a lot more viewers. Mm-hmm. When I first started, because I had a niche for myself. I did the Star Wars thing. I'm a total Star Wars nerd. I always wore Star Wars t-shirts and did my hair in space buns. I just did it. Oh my gosh,
yes.
And I had a niche. And then I went back to school. And I had no time. Yeah. And even if I did, I was just so tired. I stopped doing it. So gradually I kind of fell off, and I used to stream under a different name. Mm-hmm. I used to stream under Warrior Woman 9203, which was kind of long. So I changed to Kellie, and then I feel like some people don't even know it's me, yeah. They might see, if they saw Warrior Woman, maybe they would be like, oh, okay, that's Warrior Woman. But maybe they don't know it's me because of my name change. But I still do it because it's the only hobby that I've ever cared about for so long. Oh, I've never cared about anything else this long. I mean, besides video games, I've never wanted to keep doing a hobby. I've taken up all kinds of hobbies. I mean, sewing. I made flower crowns for a day.
What?
I've
That's
done
amazing.
I've done so much, but I just don't stick with it. I'm over it within, a week.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. I don't know why, but streaming, I mean, I've been doing it for years. I guess because there's actually something to strive for.
Yeah.
To get the viewers, obviously, it can be very lucrative if you know what you're doing. But it's just the only thing I really love enough to keep doing, even if nobody's watching.
Yeah, I love that. So I also want to. Oh, sorry. Did you have anything else?
No, I think I'm good.
Okay. I also want to ask for any women who are listening, who are streaming, if you had any words of advice to them, whether it's, on, creating a niche, like you said, and being who you are, or any advice on being able to safely stream, or, some other ideas like creating the email authentication for streamers or mods or anything. Anything that you want to say to any women who are listening that want to stream or that are streaming that might be dealing with, toxicity on Twitch just for being a girl gamer?
I'd say keep going, but if people are really harassing you, you're gonna have to start reporting them and like trying to get them like banned like for real off Twitch, but you don't want to be getting stalkers and stuff. And I would say that there's a fine line between facing some harassment from a couple of trolls and really facing like legitimate threats.
Mm-hmm.
And it's important to make sure that that's what you're up against is just some trolls that you can say, hey, leave me alone, and they will, or they're afraid of getting banned or whatever. But yeah, I think that you have to be careful and not let people know like your real name. I never really shared my real name with my followers or anything.
Mm-hmm.
Don't let them find out where you live.
Of course, yeah.
Honestly, just basic safety that women are already doing. But if I had advice besides like about the harassment, like I said, it would just be to keep going and play a game that you enjoy. Don't play something because it's popular, because if you don't like it, it's going to show. People are going to realize that you're not liking what you're doing, and then you're just going to seem fake if you like pretend that you like it.
And there's one more thing I want to talk about, because I don't know, when I read your article, I wanted to know who this was because I wasn't sure. You did talk about that you went on the channel of one of your favorite streamers and they were crying?
Yeah. I went, her name is Scissors. She's actually a streamer from the UK. And she has like a baby daughter, and she has been streaming for a long time. I've watched her for a long time, and I came into her stream and she was literally crying.
Oh my gosh.
And I'm like, I didn't really ask what happened because I had assumed, because this was around the time that all these hate raids were going on. And I was like, oh gosh, she must have gotten a hate raid. And then people were saying like to her, like, oh, you're not a bad mom and stuff. And I'm like, what the hell did this person say? So apparently this person had said, because they reported this person and everything, they had come into the channel. They pretty much told her, you're a terrible mother and all kinds of things.
Oh my God.
And she was like, crying. So we all started donating bits and everything. People were being really nice and gifting subs, and I donated some bits as well, and just to see her smile and stuff. And so I went on Twitter later, because I follow her on Twitter. She decided that she's not going to put her daughter anywhere on social media anymore. She literally is never going to bring her daughter back on social media because of trolls. And I can't even believe that someone could be so hateful and say something about someone's literally gorgeous baby daughter. Yeah. I mean, I was like appalled. And like I said, I didn't even ask about the specifics because I just didn't want anybody to re-say what they had said. I didn't want anyone to like repeat the horrible things, of course, just so I could hear it.
So one more question. What exactly is a hate raid?
So in my article that I wrote about the why is Twitch so toxic lately, it was a thread by Jambo, or was the start of a thread, and she apparently had a hate raid. I wasn't there for this, but so she was actually raided by a streamer named Adam C. So he apparently sent his followers and raiders into her community like a raid, but with just hate.
Oh my gosh.
She was saying white nationalist things.
What?
No, yeah. She was saying that they were saying,
okay,
like I said, I wasn't there. And that's what I'm trying to say it, but it's not coming out right. So she was saying that they had been saying about white nationalism and saying racist, I'm sure racial slurs and all kinds of stuff. And yeah, she was saying that was like the hate raid. And so that's why I kind of this is really what spurred me to write this article, was because I just, like I said, my favorite streamer, she's crying. People are getting hate rated.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, what is going on right now? And it was another streamer that did it, and they weren't banned.
They weren't?
They weren't banned at the moment.
Wow.
But he was apparently even threatening Twitch staff and everything, according to the article.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I mean, it was insane. I haven't checked up on it, but normally I think I followed her on Twitter, so I haven't seen an update. Maybe there isn't one yet.
And I also know that you mentioned The Last of Us 2 as well, and how there were in-game spoilers that were just being thrown into people's streams too. And I'm just, I guess I'm just wondering, like, will Twitch ever be able to do enough to help stop these things?
I don't know what they would really do, because you can pretty much make your username anything except for racial slurs and stuff. But sometimes people have names that are slurs or horrible things, like, in the name, that if you pronounce it.
Yeah.
So, like, you don't know until you're like, oh, thanks for the follow, I love something, or whatever.
Yeah.
Oh no, I didn't want to say that. And that's what they've been doing now, because if you write it in the chat, I mean, obviously people will delete it, but your username is still there. So when I was in this one stream from, she's actually in Leading Ladies TV with me. I went into her stream. She was playing The Last of Us 2, and the person made seriously 7 accounts while I was there.
What?
And their username was spoilers for The Last of Us 2.
Oh my gosh.
It would say this person does this. I don't want to even want to be very vague, but and then at the end it said TLOU2. So you pretty much know it's The Last of Us 2. And they went into a Last of Us 2 channel, and just their username was the spoiler. So even if you delete them, the spoiler's still in the chat.
Yeah.
Because it deletes the message. And she would it popped up on her stream, literally, this thing that happens. And she's like, oh, thanks for the follow. And then, I mean, she got very upset.
Yeah.
Well, she didn't read it out because she read it first.
Yeah.
But you know how there's an alert on the screen and everything? Mm-hmm. It was it was awkward, really. It was oh my God. And then they just kept making an account every time she deleted it.
Wow. So before I close out, I want to end on a positive note again. I'm so sorry that I brought it back
You're fine.
Twitch and sexual predators and everything else that happens there. And I know that you also mentioned Ubisoft and esports organizers and casters, and how it's always an issue for, women to be a part of the conversation because of the fact that they may not be even believed when they come forward. But having discussed Twitch and toxicity and all of that, and I know that we also talked about some things that you think would help going forward. I just want to end it by, first of all, thanking you for coming on the podcast with me and talking to me about this and sharing a little bit of your experiences.
Yeah,
and
thanks for inviting me.
Of course, I'm so happy. And also, if you want to tell us just one more really great time that you had on Twitch, just so we can end on a high note with some good times.
I mean, I've had a lot of great times on Twitch. I've actually, I've been looking through some of my older clips lately just for fun, because I just like to remember these times. And I'm actually looking through and seeing, when I was playing Friday the 13th, with my community. So I would play it on PlayStation, and I had a bunch of friends on PlayStation, and we would play, and we would pretty much role play. And I mean, we weren't serious role players, but we would each have a character, and we would do it. And it was just fun times. I miss being that carefree on Twitch, just having your friends and you're streaming. I'm not worried about people that are watching. I'm just having fun playing a game, and it's awesome.
Yeah.
And people are watching and they're having fun too. That's what Twitch is really about. And I feel like I said, hate raids and all of this stuff happening. It's aren't we just supposed to be on Twitch and gaming to have fun? Is that why we're here?
Mm-hmm. Yes. No, yeah, like, exactly. Yes. I know I'm repeating myself, but I mean, that's the whole point, of creating a community of, friends and viewers that love you and love what you do, and being able to play games together, and just have fun without, having to worry about any type of sexual predators or sexual harassment or anything that, comes with being a streamer on Twitch. But anyway, once again, thank you so much, Kellie, for being here. Everyone who wants to follow her on Twitch, you can check out the article or the description in this podcast episode. All of her Twitch information will be there. Come hang out with me. I'll also be in her streams. And anytime that we're offline and she's online, you will see her on HPCritical's Twitter. I'm sorry, not Twitter, Twitch, at twitch.tv/HPCritical. So definitely check us out as well. Thank you once again, Kellie, and goodbye, everyone.
Thank you very much.